A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. You're welcome to another wonderful episode of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odwan. I have with me here Eniton Daramola. Very good afternoon to you, Eniton.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and together we'll be giving you updates happening in the world of sports. We'll be previewing the Super Eagles games that will be coming up in the next coming days, and we'll also be reviewing happenings in European football just this past weekend. But of course, like we always do, we'll begin with the front page of Punch Sports Extra, the print version. And we'll be starting with the man himself, winner of the African Cup of Nations in 2013, of course, with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Kenneth Omeru. And he has said Nigeria cannot afford to not qualify for another World Cup. Anything, do you agree with his sentiments?
Oh, absolutely. I do agree with his sentiments, but he needs to consider the predicament. You know, the current situation that Nigeria is in right now. The Super Eagles are in right now. They are like fifth on the table of 6, teams in the group, and we're just 3 points. 3 points. However, that's not far off actually from the 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 table leaders. I beg your pardon, who have 7 points in person of Rwanda, followed by South Africa, and then another team who also has 7 points. So there are 3 on 7 points. A win for us against Rwanda on Friday takes us to 7, and hopefully maybe a draw thereabout for
a draw anything.
No, I'm not saying for the Super Eagles. I'm saying for opposing teams.
Okay.
So hopefully a draw, and then we're at par with them, or we're not too far.
So mathematics, officially mathematics has begun.
No, absolutely. It has to. You need to from the start.
Okay. The Super Eagles mathematics.
Oh no, that mathematics.
Is this not? Are we not on that route?
No. I hope we don't go
right.
get on that route.
All right, very quickly, we have to move away from that, but still sticking with the front page. Right now, the biggest picture on Punch Sports Extra this morning is a Remo Stars player, and yes, still maintaining that league. 19 plus 19 is 38, meaning they're going to be playing 38 games already, and they are 29 gone as far as this season is concerned, with a good number of points leading the table already. It looks like Remo Stars are on their way to finally clinching that Nigerian Premier Football League trophy.
Oh, well, it will be a good one for them to, to finally, like you said, to finally clinch the trophy. However, they need to know that it is not done until it's done. It is not final until it's final. Even, beyond the Nigerian Professional Football League, we've had cases whereby we've seen some teams, lead the log from like the very first week of the football season, and then at the later end of the season, at the tail end of the season, they wobble and then they fall off the perk. You understand? So I hope that will not be the case. I just hope that will not be the case, because they need to keep themselves sharp. You need to stay off injuries as much as you can. The physios and every other personnel need to do what they need to do, and they just need to to get the results. It's all about, from this point now, it's not about the form or anything. It's about results. I think you recall that there are some teams, even in the era of Sir Alex Ferguson, you recall that at some point they do not play exceptionally well, but they get the result. That's when they start to win.
They grind out the 3 points.
You understand? You recall that's thrilling clash with Liverpool at Anfield, where John O'Shea had to score a late minute goal for Manchester United, and that was like almost all they needed to win the league. So at this point, what Remo Stars needs to do is they need to keep winning. They need to get the results as much as they can. Just get the results, get the perfect.
They won 2 goals to nil at home yesterday, but we'll be back to that later on. Right. And this man is almost on the front page every time. Anytime anything transfer is being discussed, Victor Osimhen is almost always on the front page. And hey, Galatasaray, his current club there in Turkey, of course, he's on loan from Napoli, have said they are ready to trigger his release clause of just 75 million euros. Well, not just, but it's just 75 million euros, and they want to keep him. The man scored the hat-trick for them this weekend. Victor Osimhen, where will he end up?
Well, the best person to answer that question is Victor Osimhen and his
one of the early bets, by the way, in the Super Eagles camp.
Oh yes,
and Bruno
absolutely. I think I like that. From him.
I didn't expect that. That was shocking.
No, he had I think he just needed to make a statement, not just about himself, but
for the other lads.
Teams, you understand, the rest of the team rather. You understand, because of the situation that the Super Eagles, we need to just maintain that is that they are in a situation they are about to miss out on the World Cup. So it's a big one and it's a good move. However, I hope we, get the results earlier and we don't leave it late. But concerning the transfer, yes, he would always be on the, on the front page as regards transfer until he has moved or until he makes a permanent deal, to sign with Galatasaray. But for his own good, I think it's best to move away from Galatasaray. However, he's enjoying life in Galatasaray. He has over 30 goals, and assists. His goal contribution for,
for them this season.
It's amazing. And I think he's currently the highest scorer in the league. So it's
anyway, he needs to move into the top 5 European leagues, if we are being honest, because he's still too young to be playing in Turkey. Go to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Go and slug it out to the big boys.
Should he go to us now? Because they currently...
He should just go to where the spotlight to be on him. He needs to do great things for himself. Well, it was the weather that affected my life in England. I was not that poor. We're speaking. Manchester United loanee at Real Betis. Yes, your guess is as good as mine. Anthony, was it the weather that affected you?
The camera would actually lose me if I do a spin right now, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to do it.
Man, you fine. You're trying to pin the blame on him.
No.
He said it was the weather.
I've not said anything.
Okay.
I've not said anything.
Okay.
So, however, that's what he said. He's going to come back to Manchester, right?
He's on
loan.
loan.
Hopefully, at the end of the season, and if they don't ship him out eventually,
the weather may still not.
The weather will not change. The Manchester,
favorable to him.
But however, there have been some players that have had complaints about the Manchester weather. I wouldn't say that that's an excuse, because as a professional footballer who has played football for almost maybe 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, you should be able to adapt, to situations.
It can really get cold. Have you been to Manchester before?
I have not been there, but I will be there.
Okay.
I will be there.
All right. That'll be all for us from the front page. Of course, that's not all. I will just leave in the front page because I have to go into the meat of the show. So if you want more, you can just go buy your vendor and have a grab. Get the new plastic header at the appropriate time, just before the close of the first half. Had they not gotten that first goal in the first half, perhaps Liverpool could have come in blazing the second half. But at the end of the day, congratulations to Eddie Howe and his men. Yep. This is a dream Newcastle United fans have been having at the back of their heads, having at the back of their minds for a long time. You could see Alan Shearer celebrating like crazy right there. Anytime, a big one. A big one for Newcastle, but it's sad for Liverpool because some weeks ago we were talking about the treble, and now the fumbled.
A big one for Newcastle, but a big blow, for Liverpool. Before I go to Liverpool, I'd like to say kudos to, Newcastle United. Congratulations to Eddie Howe and his team. Who would have thought that Eddie Howe would finally lead, Newcastle United to the trophy? You recall when, I think they were trying to make decisions about coaching and, everyone was saying, oh, Eddie Howe, this, Eddie Howe, that. However, he proved himself to be the perfect guy for the team at that time. And, this time, there's no need to, to send him out of the club, you understand, and to replace him and bring in, maybe a more, bigger coach or elite coach. However, he's done quite well for his, for himself and for Newcastle United. What a way to win, the trophy, the first trophy in 70 years. 70 good years.
That's a generation.
Exactly. Who knows when they win it again?
Who knows 70 years?
I'm not saying, well, you said that.
No, I'm just looking at...
Who knows when they win it again? Or who knows, this could be the start of something new for Newcastle United. They have the money to bring in the big players. They have the philosophy. You look at how Newcastle set up and how they play. They are a match for any of the top teams anytime in the Premier League. Talk about Manchester United, talk about Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea. They are a match.
No, you should have started from Manchester City.
No. But
regardless don't put Manchester United. Sorry.
Regardless of the current form, regardless of the current form, you'd not still rubbish Manchester United.
Don't put Manchester United.
Things could change. Just
let them change. Let them change.
However, it's a big blow for Liverpool. Recall, I was saying this the last time that they lost to, I think it was Nottingham Forest, and I was saying that could this be the start of something bad, or it shouldn't be a bad trend.
Yeah, talking about Liverpool now.
Exactly. It should not lead to a bad trend for Liverpool. And in the space of just 1 week or one football week, they crashed out of the Champions League and they've lost the
final
EFL
of the
Cup.
Carabao
amazingly is the fact that they could not get a shot, at least more than 2 shots on target in the first half was amazing. It was amazing. You recall against PSG, the only shot that they had on target,
that Elliott
the first
goal
leg, was the Elliott goal. And it brings the question, what is happening to Liverpool? What is going on with Liverpool? Are they tense? You know, is it the pressure of, you know, or maybe they are relaxed, they are being complacent because, you know, they
quick one anything.
won the league.
Is it that when you shut out Salah, you've definitely shut out Liverpool? Because Paris Saint-Germain were able to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
Same thing for Newcastle yesterday. He was practically
well, yes, that's one of the, you know, because he's their big man. He has been, you know, what they call it now, I think it's a Ballon d'Or form of the season for him. You understand? But
and then that dream is out
if you can
in a week.
Exactly. And that's why you do not rely all the time on one player. You know, you need everybody to turn up all the time because you have Luis Diaz, you have Cody Gakpo, you have Darwin Núñez. Regardless.
Somebody said Liverpool needed 2 goals and they were bringing on Darwin.
Well, it could have gotten them the goal, but you know. However, everybody needs to step up because days like this, where you have people who have planned.
Quick question to you, Eniton.
Yeah.
If this was a 3-point gap between Liverpool and City, and what is happening to Liverpool just started happening to them, like you said, in a footballing week, do you think they would have won this? They will be able to win this Premier League because it looks now like they've won it. Maybe we are being honest.
It looks.
Yeah,
like
it's about is it 12 points or something? Yeah. And then their closest rival is Arsenal.
And Manchester City is still like 5th.
No, you know Arsenal. So, now. Like, Arsenal does not look like the guys that can step up to Liverpool. If this was a close contest, if this was a close race, 3 points, 2 points, 4 points, like it's always by this time of the season, do you think this is something that they could have lost as well?
Oh no, they would have lost. You know why? Because they lost to Newcastle, and it's a league game, not a cup game. A league game loss to Newcastle like they did yesterday would have just swung the tides to Manchester City. If Manchester City were like second,
the city of back in the days.
Exactly. It was, back in the days, it was just last season. Not back in the days. It was
the
just
days
last
are
season.
fast.
So they would have
going by these days.
Lost the league.
All right, let's move over to the English Premier League. Let's start with Manchester United. Of course, expectedly, if you ask me, they trashed Leicester City, who looks like they're almost down and under. It looks like the 3 guys that came are going down the same way they came up. Yeah. I'm talking about Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich.
Well, for Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich, yes, it actually looks like they are going back the same way that they came. Leicester City are second, to the last on the log, and they have the second worst, results, goals conceded, goals scored, everything on the log. So it's, I don't know.
Not even Ruud van Nistelrooy as manager could propel them.
And the likes of Wilfred Ndidi, who he has moved away from his number 4 role.
Playing like a 10. Yes, sometimes he moves to the position of an 8.
Yeah,
he's just everywhere in the middle.
Yeah, but it's a good game for Manchester United, although not expected so. Because every game against Manchester United is unpredictable. You understand? Every game for Manchester United is unpredictable.
You never know what can happen.
Yeah, exactly. But we can say that Amorim is beginning to stamp his footprints, and he's beginning to get the guys to play as a team. Because when you can get that sorted first, who knows, you understand? But he's been able to get them to at least play as a team, win as a team, lose together.
As a team.
You understand?
All right.
So
all right.
Good one for Manchester.
Very quickly, let's move on to the London Derby. It was supposed to be a big game, but probably as a result of what happened to both teams this season, they are not really flying. Perhaps Arsenal was a challenge to Liverpool, but right now it looks like they are just trying to seal second position, and Chelsea are probably just chasing Europe. But they lost 1-0. The goal came off the acting striker for Liverpool, for Arsenal. He was said to have been injured the day before, Cole Palmer, even though in recent time, good one for them, I guess.
Yeah, good one for Arsenal, and this is one of the reasons, or refused to sign a striker when they had the opportunity to sign a striker. They ought to have done that at summer transfer window,
or they had in January.
Exactly, and they didn't. And now they have an Arsenal fan told me last night that they've had psychologists to try
speak
to
with
convince
the boys.
Merino. No, not just the boys.
Okay.
Now Merino that he can play as a striker and get goals that they need to, to win the league. And let's see how it turns out, because they are facing bigger tests. If the league has gone, if the league is gone, there's still a big test for them that they need to pass, and that's against Real Madrid in the Champions League. So they need to get, it's even impossible for them. They would have used somebody like what's his name now, the Nigerian born player
Obi?
in Manchester, Obi, but they lost Obi, to Manchester United. So who is the striker, the natural born striker?
There's no natural born.
Exactly. And
Right.
Gabriel Jesus, I beg your pardon, Gabriel
injured.
Jesus is injured. Saka is injured. So I don't know the magic that Mikel Arteta would perform, but it doesn't look like they are going to steal the league away from Liverpool. No, it doesn't look like.
All right, so the league the league format remains the way it was virtually. Liverpool still topping despite the fact that they didn't play. Arsenal still in second position despite the fact that they play and they won. The boys below are still below in the same order. Southampton lost again. That's what they've been doing for months now. Leicester City lost as well. Ipswich lost to Nottingham, and City drew to Brighton. Nothing bright about the performance of City.
Absolutely nothing bright about the performance of Manchester City. I don't know. Pep Guardiola has not. I don't know. The new boys, they're trying, the likes of Marmoush and Dave, but they have not really settled into the system and into the playing style of Pep Guardiola. Well, I'm not singling them out, for criticism. I'm just saying that the team have struggled this season, and this is like a transformation or a transformative period, for Manchester City. They would obviously lose some players at the end of this season. Some players will need to to move on, and they'll need to transition. So they'll need to move on, and then they'll need to get in new players. It's left for us to see, because at the moment Manchester City are fifth on the log behind Chelsea, and
they may still make it though. There's a possibility of a fifth place English club going to the Champions League.
If Manchester United wins the Europa League,
I said they may still make it.
So I'm just saying that if Manchester United wins,
then it's up for them.
Exactly.
But so, what's the possibility of a Manchester United winning the Europa League?
And what's the possibility of Manchester City not going, down beyond fifth?
Anything is possible.
Anything
it's football.
Is possible. So it is left for us to see if Pep Guardiola would stay at Manchester City, play in the Europa League. I don't think he's ever done that. It will be interesting. Pretty interesting.
That's true.
Pretty interesting.
Football would love to see him listen to that sick tune of the Europa League, not the popular one of the Champions League. My United guys are used to, listening to that music quite a lot. Very quickly, we move on to Spain, where there was quite some pain going around the city of Madrid. But not for Real, because Real defeated Villarreal 2-1. Goals courtesy of the star boy himself, the new king. It looks like it. I'm talking about Kylian Mbappe. Goals in quick succession. 1-2 in the first half, enough to ensure that Real Madrid got all 3 points. But you could see after the game, those guys were very, 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 very tired after they won 20 minutes against Atletico. And uncharacteristically, the manager of Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti, came out to say, if they don't give my players 3 days to rest, we are never ever playing that game.
Never ever playing the game. That's a big statement.
Very big statement.
It's good that you ended there, because I was going to actually start, from there. That's a pretty big statement. Does it mean that Real Madrid have, just considered and said, oh, this season is off, so we'd rather just,
pass
let's
the 3
focus
points
on the Champions League and then let Barca win the league? I don't know. I can't recall how, the point gap between Real Madrid and Barcelona.
It's the same point, but they have an extra game, or I think 2 extra games. I think it's an extra game. There's 1 extra game.
Who has extra game?
Barcelona has an extra game. So if they win the game, that will be 3 points.
So does that mean that Real Madrid have thrown in?
No. I think it was just being emotional.
No. That statement is sounding like, oh, well, the league is gone already. Because if you are winning the league, if you are top of, the La Liga with like 2, 3, 4, 5 points, I don't think as a manager you would say that you'd allow your opponent to get a walkover, because you have not rested like 72 hours. Yes, I'm not saying that they do not need to rest, because that game against Atletico Madrid, both legs, that was war.
Quickly, 5 seconds, anything. Atletico Madrid 2 goals up. Unfortunately, they couldn't hold it. Barcelona scored 4 goals in quick succession, and boom, they blew it. In a football week, they've lost against Real Madrid, they've lost against Barcelona.
However, you need to listen to the statement, from what's his name now, Diego Simeone, after the game, saying that, admitting that Barcelona are the only team that play. I can't recall the words that he used now, but he was saying that they played well without, in quotes. That's my interpretation of it. Without, in quotes, Odoro or referees, to come and say that
they'll meet Barcelona again
there was a double touch of the ball during the penalty kick, and it was he just considered and said like Barcelona were like the best team, but he didn't give Madrid kudos. You understand? But he should have just
kudos or otherwise.
They lost a 2-goal lead to
against Barcelona.
A brilliant Barcelona team. Yeah, that's.
All right, very quickly move on now and talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria comprehensively now, because Eric Chelle, you go soon know waiting the Chelle if you don't provide the 6 points we need to go top of the group. But a good one, like we mentioned earlier, Bruno Onyemachi is in the team already. The guys from Nigeria carry the bank early of Remo Stars, even though personally I do not think carry the bank early should be in that squad, because as it stands, is the second goalkeeper at Remo Stars. Yes, there was a time when we were all clamoring for Cardi Bankole to be called up. Fantastic goalkeeper, number 1. But now you are number 2 in the local league. You shouldn't be in the Super Eagles of Nigeria when you are number 2 at home. Anyway, but good one. He is there in the team already. Yeah. Bruno Onyemachi is equally there. Starboy Victor Osimhen, one of the early risers. In fact, of the 2 foreign-based guys there at the moment, Victor Osimhen is there, and everybody's ready. Eric Chelle was looking fresh and all. I said, okay, nice. They aren't pouring water on him yet, I guess.
I hope he doesn't get to that point. I just hope he doesn't get to that point, because Nigerians will not take it lightly. With him, Nigerians would banter if they can banter the number 1 person in this country. No,
Nigerians banter anybody.
They can just banter anybody. Anybody, they can drag anybody.
If you go beyond your boundary, and they have your time.
So this is us. Now I'm saying us.
We are playing Rwanda on Friday.
Yeah.
Anytime. 3 points.
It's
3 points or nothing.
It's 3 points or nothing,
because we have just 3 points.
If we do not win that game, we are going further down.
Wow.
We are going further down, and that's like the World Cup ticket slipping farther away from the Super Eagles of Nigeria. This is the biggest tournament of this time. This is like arguably the biggest football.
This is the World Cup.
Yeah, it's the biggest football tournament, and Nigeria should not be missing. These are the tournaments this is rather the tournament that the Super Eagles should always. And when I say always, I mean always be part of. The last time it was Ghana that
eliminated Nigeria.
Yes, this should not happen. And this is a big task for Eric Chelle. This would be his first 2 games, in charge of the Super Eagles. This is the big test. This is the best way to test anybody.
Only the number 1 placed team goes automatically. If you are not number 1, you are second. There will be a lot of qualification groups, games, playoffs, this one, that one. But if you want to be if you want to be on that plane to the United States next year, 2026, for the World Cup, we just need to clinch that first spot. Is that possible?
Yes,
is that possible?
Yes, it's actually possible.
Because we have started, we have brought out our pens now to start the maths.
Yes. Obviously, you need to do the maths. You understand? So it is actually possible. I think as big of a task as this has presented itself to Eric Chelle, I think you need to know one thing. We are just 3 points, or 4 points rather, away from the top of the table. And what in this week, this match week
that plays in America, that is not considered to be serious football. And there's a certain Frank the Tank Onyeka playing for Augsburg week in, week out, not making it. What influenced the decision of Chelle to call certain players? Why is Cardi Bankole in that team? Why was our Udinese goalkeeper why was he dropped? Okoye. I mean, I guess Dele Bashiru wasn't called because of his recent injury. But these are some of the guys that have proven themselves for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Why are you leaving reliable guys and then picking guys that we do not know? We can't really vouch for some of their performances, unlike some of the key actors, especially recently at the Nations Cup.
When you say reliable guys, yes, I quite agree with you. But I would say that they are not untouchable guys. They could be reliable, but they are not untouchable. When you mention the untouchables, you talk about the likes of Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, what's his name now? Nwabali and the likes. What's his name? The Fulham guy, Alex Iwobi. You understand? And then what's his name now? Basi. You mentioned those players, they're untouchable.
Victor Boniface has not scored a goal for us. Some people are even challenging. Some people are asking questions. Why should he be untouchable?
Currently, Victor Boniface is not untouchable. He's touchable in the Super Eagles.
All right.
He has become touchable in for what's his club now?
Leverkusen. Doesn't start since that injury.
You understand? It doesn't start, and they need him to start. He's a player that they need to start. He's arguably like one of the players that won them the league last season. And then you know, since the old transfer issue, we've not really heard his side of what happened. But I hope there's no friction between him and them and the club. However, they've not been starting him. He needs to score goals. He's hungry. You understand? These are the players that we need. You understand? However, some players are not untouchable, like I mentioned. But the big question is, this is a coach that has not like maybe he doesn't have, he has not really watched all these guys perform for the Super Eagles. Why make that decision? We really need to know. I hope it doesn't backfire, especially with Frank the Tank missing.
Wow.
In the squad. I hope it doesn't.
Frank the Tank Onyeka. All right, we have to move on now to Formula One. The first race of the year was won by McLaren's Lando Norris. Oh my goodness, it was outstanding because there was Verstappen pushing right up until the end. Unfortunately, he couldn't clinch it. And this is actually the first time of the championship would be somebody else outside of Max Verstappen for a 20 cars race. Only 14 ended at that race. Must tell you something. The surface was really wet, and it was very tricky. And along the line, the big boy of Formula One himself fell by the wayside, Lewis Hamilton. But at the end of the day, Norris clinched it, and it was a good one for the McLaren team.
Hamilton didn't just fall by the wayside. Like we were saying before, we came on live, and that he came 10th. Like, how did Hamilton go from a podium?
The man is getting
a
old.
Podium, consistent podium, maker
every now and then.
You understand. But however, we can't just take it off Lando, Norris, and say congratulations to Lando Norris. Apparently, they say that there's no smoke, without fire. Lando had, been the most performing during the playoffs, so it's a good one for him. And this is the first race of this season. We'll get to see. It's going to be an interesting one. The fact that Max didn't, clinch the top.
He pushed him.
Yeah, it was.
His tires were rough and rugged. But he kept on pushing.
This should,
my goodness.
This should really, leave us with something to watch, something to look out for in the next race. It's going to be, it's going to be really, really, really exciting to see, because Max would want to stamp his authority. He would not want to let, he would want to stamp his authority. He would not want to let it slip, because the farther you let it slip, or the earlier you let it slip, the difficult it becomes, to catch up. So it's going to be pretty much interesting, in the next race.
All right, very quickly, let's talk about the Nigerian Premier 2-2, and somebody was saying that there was a controversial goal that should not have stood. Remember that just some months ago, Korea United was in the Champions League. Two teams will be staying at the CAF Confederations Cup. But the biggest story was that Remo Stars, despite the fact that they are not with their first goalkeeper, who is on international duty with Benin Republic, and their second goalkeeper, Kaide Bankwele, who is on international duty with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And even their manager is also an assistant manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Somehow, they were able to still gather momentum and win 2-0. Other results will be coming in. But anytime, I know we touched it on it earlier. They've been the nearly men of the NPFL. Yeah. It looks like this is their season, Remo Stars.
Yes, it actually looks like this is their season. I was talking about Newcastle the other time, and I was talking about system. And you mentioned now that they didn't have the first choice goalkeeper, second choice goalkeeper, and then the coach who is an assistant. It's all about system, putting things in place. And it's all about getting results, because before you get results, you need to put things in place. And they have, I don't want to say they've had experiences from the near, misses, but yes, quite, it's quite some things to learn from, you understand. And I hope that they've learned from it and are ready to push to the very end, because to win the NPFL, you need to push to the very, 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 very end, because it's not over until it's over. They're in the best position, and it looks like this is their year. But like I mentioned earlier,